What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Rich and Angel Show. It's a new week, so we have some new topics to talk about. If you are around, make sure you drop your number in the comments, and maybe we'll give you a call. Maybe not. So let's get started.
Rich and Angel. Rich Malady here, live and direct. It's the Rich and Angel Show.
Welcome back, everybody. We got some volume things going here. Let me just turn that
Oh,
on.
shoot.
All right, about to get a feedback loop going. All right, so how's everybody doing today? How was your weekend? Comment and let us know what were some of the fun things you did this weekend. We'll tell you what we did
We'll tell you what we did
on Saturday.
on Saturday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had
We had a
the AEIOU. We had the top 5 pizzas in Bayonne, part 2 that we
Yes.
were shooting. So that was a lot of fun.
that was some
And
fun. We had a good time. We had a lot of pizza. I'm done with pizza for a while.
it was very filling. I'll say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. We did Pizzolinos. We did Cool's Tavern. We did the Vic. We did Fontana's, and we did Cafe Bello. Of course, we had to throw them in and give them love.
I'm not over Cafe Bello's pizza, by the way.
It's banging.
Yeah,
So good.
I was editing the video this morning and I was looking at the pizza and I'm like, oh, that looks so good. I remember how it tastes.
Yeah, it was, it's quality ingredients done
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah. So I have 2 big articles that I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
I have 3, but 2 of them I think are more important for today. So let's get it jumping.
By the
Let's do
way,
that.
while we're doing this too, favorite pizza joints, throw them in the comments.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
we'll visit. Maybe we'll do a review.
Yeah, wherever you are, I put the city and the name.
We'll be in San Diego this week. So if you're in San Diego, we're going to be at Mopsy and we'll be doing some, maybe we'll do a pizza review if we get a minute.
Yeah. So this one is NRA joins National Recycling Leadership Council.
Okay.
That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
As the restaurant industry forecasts predict that sustainability will become more of a priority for owners and operators, the NRA, National Restaurant Association, not the Rifle Association, has joined the newly formed Recycling Leadership Council within the Consumer Brand Association. The council goal is to unite a diverse group of stakeholders from consumer-facing industries, packaging companies, and recycling ecosystems to build a public policy framework to fundamentally reimagine the U.S. recycling system. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way
The cookie
a lot.
crumbles.
Yeah. I mean, everything is about environmental and green and keeping things. I mean, look, we lost plastic bags here.
Yeah.
In Bayonne is banned. There's a plastic bag ban that was just going to be happening, I think, across the country.
Yeah, I mean, in my town now, in Lodi, you
Not
have
yet.
to pay.
Yeah, well, it's like 10 cents a bag.
Yeah,
if you want it,
10 cents a
and
bag.
they're reusables. But I mean, everything's about conserving and keeping our earth, livable.
Yeah. All right, we'll flow right beyond this one. I thought that was just something worth mentioning because
Sure.
it's NRA. So.
Absolutely.
This one, I think is relevant. Not this one. This one I think is relevant to the day, but also relevant to us because we're going to be putting on a conference and we're going to be speaking to our industry. For me, for the first time. For you, this is big.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
this is some tips. What communicators can learn from Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech.
MLK Day.
Yeah, today's MLK Day. His birthday was on the 15th, and he died in April. So, it's a really well written article. Actually, if you really want to go to it and read it, read it in its entirety. Definitely do it on entrepreneur.com. It's really great. Just tips on communicating and why his speech was so effective. So it lists a few things. So the perfect occasion. As any speaker would, King opened his speech by saying he was happy to be there. Then he added that the event would go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. So I think it was the right thing to say at the right time. So then it talks about the perfect moment. King hardly failed to note that this speech took place roughly 100 years after the Civil War and Emancipation Proclamation. There's always one of those like
Wow.
weird coincidences, almost like divine kind of coincidences that happen when speeches are of this magnitude. So that's really cool. The perfect setting, obviously the Lincoln Memorial.
Wow.
That's kind of why we picked Miami, you know, not that we're comparing ourselves to
No.
the Reverend Doctor,
No.
but you know, I think it matters. What people are looking at matters. Where
Yeah.
they're going
Yeah.
matters.
Atmosphere. All these
Atmosphere.
things matter.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The perfect person. Philip Randolph introduced King as the moral leader of our nation. I would not
Yeah.
argue with that at all.
No.
The perfect message. Americans still disagree on many issues.
Many
But-
having to do with race.
Yep.
Yeah.
But accepting extreme fringe elements, America is no longer divided on the principles that King laid out in his speech. Yeah, it's crazy to think about. Like back then, those weren't even fringe issues. Those were like mainstream things that were going on as far as race goes. And now it's just assumed like, all right, we can all agree that this speech was true.
Yeah.
The perfect language. You can throw a dart at the text of the speech, and any paragraph you will hit will impress you with the right. Yeah. So I love this because I just read this and then I was like, you know what, let me watch the actual speech. And it's true. It's poetry. The whole thing is poetry.
Hmm.
It's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, every line by line, it's different kinds of metaphors and different kinds of similes, and the whole thing is just like a piece of art. The perfect delivery. I mean,
Matters.
he's a preacher, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's the hardest part for me is like being
Yeah.
able to deliver with conviction. You know?
Yeah. I really think that's just something that, I mean, you could probably work on it, but it's something that's in you. I mean,
Yeah.
it's who you know, that's part of who you are and how you, present yourself in situations. But you know, it is tough. It is tough when you get on stage and you got all those eyes on you
Yeah.
to be yourself.
Yeah.
So that's why practice is so important to give that perfect delivery.
I also think the magnitude of the message
And the
contributes
message
to that a lot.
the message is everything.
Yeah.
And well, look, the message and the delivery go together. You know,
Yeah.
you have, even when you have comedians, right? I mean,
Right.
if they're not delivering their message, their content proper, we're gonna be sitting here like
Right. Timing.
crickets. Timing. It's
Timing,
all
yeah.
It's an
Emphasis.
art form.
Absolutely. So those are just some of them. That's pretty much all they listed. But
What is
there's
that? What's that last? Say right there. Go up a little bit. A little bit. Yeah. What is that?
oh, this
There we
little
go.
quote here.
So right
So
there.
this talks about he stops talking and he begins to sing. I have a dream that no one that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. Behold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I mean, they're powerful words. And I
epic.
think his dream is coming true,
Yeah.
even though there's still craziness out here in the world. And the media doesn't really show all the good.
Right.
I think there's definitely been a lot of strides.
Yeah. Oh, big time. I mean, it's a completely different world, I think.
Yeah.
From when he was there. So
Still too much hate out there, man.
still, of course.
We
Any
gotta
hate
stop
is
it.
too much, you
We
know.
gotta stop it.
So that's what I wanted to touch on with this. I just
Yeah.
thought it was interesting.
It's
And of
today's
course,
Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just had to pay some honor.
Which a lot of businesses and things are closed, right? The post office, I think, and
Yeah.
all the government, everything's closed. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, we're in the service business, so we are open.
The way I look at it is that we're open to serve people.
That's
like
why we're
Martin
here.
Luther King did.
We are. That's what we're here for. We're here to serve our customers and be there for our partners in the industry.
So on a completely different note, I got something completely on the opposite side of the spectrum. But I figured since we're doing a podcast and we've done podcasts and it's something that we do, I figured we would talk about how to help our people over here who are trying to start podcasts, maybe have it in mind, but don't know where to go, how to start.
And the equipment, we can let them know.
Yeah.
I think we got some really good stuff here.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if they mentioned equipment here, but we'll just say we are using the Rodecaster Pro for the audio, and it comes, well, you can get a package with all these microphones and everything, Sony A7R, and then just like a regular ring light from B&H or
Or Amazon,
Amazon.
yeah.
And that's really all we need. And then you just need a computer that has direct access to the Wi-Fi, that has direct access to the internet. You could plug it in. This way you can stream live. But that's
Yep.
if you want to stream live.
Right.
Okay, so this is apparently a successful podcast. I haven't seen it. I don't think I'm necessarily the target audience.
You're on stage. It's
Girls
like
gotta eat. So what people do after podcasting for a while is similar to what we're doing with the Fed group, where they'll take their viewership and they'll go to the main city that their viewership is at, and they'll do a live event where they'll literally just sit in front of a stage like that, and they'll talk to everybody, and they'll ask questions, but they'll act like it's a regular podcast.
Interesting.
Breakfast Club has done it. Brilliant Idiots has done it. Joe Rogan has done it. Joe Rogan did the End of the World podcast. Yeah, you remember that?
No.
So End of the World podcast was him and like 10 of his closest friends. And they did a live podcast. I think it was 5 hours long for the election of the presidency. So this was 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2016. The day of, they were like doing it live right there. What's the score now? Kind of like his fight companions. So let's read some of the tips that they got here. Number 1, leverage past accomplishments. Always look for the next move. I feel like that's something that we really take to heart, and we do, and we are constantly looking for new avenues and new ways to improve everything.
Yes.
Yeah. The second one is keep your material fresh and dynamic. That's something we're doing with the Rich and Angel show. I mean, we started with the podcast, we started with having guests, and we realized that everybody has a crazy schedule.
Yeah.
So
and this is in actuality a podcast at the end of the day. So you could throw this in your earbuds when you're at the gym. You could rewatch this over and over again. It's on YouTube. It's here on. I mean, this is essentially a podcast as well.
Yeah, pretty much. And we wanted to change the format a little bit because we were constantly looking for the next move, and we saw that the sustainability of having guests in every single week is just not there. So why not have me jump in, be kind of a sounding board for you, and then we could do it whenever we want. And if a guest comes on, we can bring the guest on, and they'll just kind of join the format of the show. Like Josh Zolan has done, Ed Stulak has done, Evan has done from Univex. So I think that's a really good thing to look for. Take time to create a structured, quality product.
Yeah.
So anyone is welcome to plug a mic, they spelled mic wrong, into their laptop and start recording, and it throw it up on iTunes or SoundCloud or whatever. Ashley says, that is some people's path, but that is not ours. We researched the mics and soundboards extensively. I searched for the editing software. We wanted to have structure. We didn't want to just shoot the shit. We take a lot of time with the flow of the podcast to make sure everything cool.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
I cut dead air, the big chunks of we don't think are relevant. So they're talking about really curating what you're doing, making sure that you have the top-notch quality, making sure that you have good writing, good little segments, and that's what we're trying to do here. I mean, sure, there's some lulls in this because it's live. We might not always be on the ball, but when it comes to the videos we post, I'm snipping those things up. Any little bit of dead air or relevant information, I'm trying to just throw it out.
Yeah. Dead air is not good.
Yeah. So number 4, ask your audience to share the podcast, which we do all the time. I mean, and if we haven't done it yet today, please share this.
Please like, comment, subscribe, share, do everything. We're looking to really build something strong here so we could help continue to get conversations started and promote the industry.
Yeah. So number 5 is the conundrum that we're in. So it says, instead of going after high profile guests, be a guest on others' podcasts. But here's the kicker. Nobody else has a podcast.
There's some, we were asked to be on a couple, but they're very far and few in between. Like Greg Crumpton is going to have Straight Outta Crumpton, his podcast.
I love that.
And there was another one that was it was a blue collar thing that was asked. We were asked to be I was asked to be on it. I just I haven't scheduled it yet. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, when you look at, if we just looking at Safesa companies alone, I don't think there's not a one. We'd be the only ones doing it.
Right.
I don't see any service companies in this industry directly that is doing a podcast.
Right. And this is directly from successful podcasters telling you that there's strength in community when it comes to stuff like this. So, I mean, if we should heed anybody's advice, it would be somebody that's doing this and making a living off of it. So, I mean, if you're thinking about starting a podcast, just do it. It doesn't have to be video. It could just be an audio podcast. So take heed. Number 6, set up your podcast like a business, but don't jump at the first chance to make money. So, I mean, I think we're we're practitioners of that.
Yeah.
We've spent a lot of time investing into the quality of this, and we're not quick to jump. But the Fed group seemed right. It seemed organic.
Oh yeah. Well, that Fed group is definitely. I mean, it's not the same exact thing as the podcast necessarily, but I do want to start a podcast within it.
Yeah.
I would like to start like a Fed Nation podcast where we're talking to members of the group, and perhaps even going live in the group
Cool.
with everyone while we're filming. So actually, yeah, if you're in the Fed group and you want to be on the first podcast, let us know.
Yeah. Hell yeah. 7, when touring live, don't get fancy. The audience is there to see you. Okay, well, too late for that. We already tried to get fancy.
Yeah.
And
We're fancy. We fancy, huh?
oh, you fancy, huh? We need some Drake things in here.
Yeah, we do.
Some Drake cues. If your content is based on your personal life, your life will change, but maybe not in the way you'd expect. So they're talking about personal branding there,
Yeah.
making sure that you stay true to yourself, even if your life changes, your audience will grow with you, et cetera, et cetera. For us, we're talking about factual stuff here. We're talking about an ever-changing but always improving industry.
Yep.
And that's what we're gonna rest on. We're not gonna rest on our personal lives or anything like that.
No, I mean, we'll throw some stuff in there here and there. You want to see personal stuff? Go to Instagram.com/RichMalachi right now.
Yeah,
Hit that follow button.
love it.
You'll see my new couch in my stories. Got a new couch.
That's right.
Got a new couch.
That's been the talk around here for like about a week or two now.
About a week. Yep.
Yeah.
I got a new couch.
Got a new couch. And what else?
Got some end tables. I got a new rug, little area rug.
The part that surprised me most was silverware.
Oh, I got silverware.
Yeah.
People that know me well know me as I guess I have a bachelor pad, so to speak. So I don't necessarily have all the essentials one might think.
Well, little by little.
I'm changing things. I'm making my house a home.
Hey,
You gotta. It's time. I'm growing up here. What am I 30, 38 now? Come on.
Really?
It's time.
You look a day over 37.
That's true. I feel good. I'm feeling good. Feeling better than ever.
Love it. So that's all I got for us. I know you got a couple things, and we can
go
through those.
If you would like, we could jump into LinkedIn.
Okay.
LinkedIn tips that we were continuing on from last week. I got 8 here, and this is about your company. This is not your personal. This is your company pages. Number 1, set up a company page for your business. It's that simple. If you don't have a LinkedIn company page, then shame on you. So it says here, every company wanting to use LinkedIn in its marketing needs a company page. This should include all the contact business information plus an overview of what the company does, for whom, and the points of difference. It's important to have a company page. You have to be relevant.
Right.
You got to be here.
Right.
Number 2, add followers. The minimum number of followers a company page needs to start having impact is 150. So while the page may attract followers organically, it takes time to get the ball rolling by requesting follows from team members, suppliers, clients, business colleagues, networking group members, friends on LinkedIn, and anyone else you feel might benefit. You got to get the engagement going.
Interesting.
You got to get the engagement going. Get yourself that your goal for this year. If you haven't started a page or you have one and it's stagnant, 150.
It's an accomplishment.
That's doable.
Yeah, it's very doable.
And that's important to understand too. Set goals that are doable.
Yes.
Don't stare and be like, we're gonna have 10,000 followers, but no, don't look at it like that. But if you want to set a goal as far as numbers go, especially when they're telling you 150 is impactful for that, set it at 150.
Yeah.
And if you get 200, well, you did great.
Well, that's an important thing to mention is like the 150 is an attainable goal, but it's also a goal that LinkedIn sees as something valuable.
Right.
And that's what you want to do, even with YouTube or something. YouTube, the first, I think, benchmark is 100 subscribers, and then you can go live.
Right.
So you want to set your goal there. All right, we're going to get to 100. Now the next goal is 1,000, because at 1,000, you get to provide merchandise on your actual YouTube page. So
Okay.
and then after that, it's 4,000 hours of watch time. That's the next one, and that's when you get to access YouTube Space New York.
Oh, that's where we want to go.
Yeah. So we need 4,000 hours. So everybody, even if you're not watching, just turn on.
Just go and turn it on. Go to youtube.com/MalachiTV
and just let it run.
Subscribe now. Put on the last pizza video we did, the top 5, and just watch it for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Number 3, where possible, avoid the default gray box in experience. Now, I'm just reading this for the first time. For all your past and present jobs, businesses, add a logo through the appropriate LinkedIn company page. Unfortunately, if the organization has no LinkedIn page, you can't display a logo.
That's talking about your portfolio. I mean, your resume and stuff like
Yeah.
that within LinkedIn.
There you go. Number 4, replace the default company page cover image with the one that represents your brand. Obviously, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but if possible, have it match the cover image on your profile so there is continuity between the two elements. You could include our tagline and a web URL. LinkedIn recommends the image is 1536 by 768 pixels, right? Yeah, listen, if you don't have a logo, go get one designed. I mean, this is free advertising for Fiverr, but you can go to Fiverr, Fiverr.com. Go to Fiverr.com. They do a lot of stuff over there.
Yeah, I mean, Fiverr is your fallback. If you don't have a design person in your place and you want to get things done, but you don't want to design yourself, just go to Fiverr. Hop on there.
100%.
Yeah.
We use it all the time. Number 6. Wait a second. Did I skip one? I think
no, I don't think so. Include your logo with that. Yeah.
No, what's going on here? This is Monday. Include your logo without your profile won't display it either. The designated space for the logo is a square, which makes it difficult for your logo is long and thin. An alternative is to have a second version of your logo that is stacked with one above the other so it looks squarer. Get your logos up. Add images, documents, and videos. This is free online real estate, so make the most of it by including media that represents your business in the best possible way. These are added by way of posts as you would on your profile page. Documents aren't common on company pages yet, so stand out by adding something to yours. We're doing that now.
Yeah.
We're adding documents. If you haven't been paying attention, you can go join me. If you're watching on LinkedIn, you can go check out my profile and my posts. You'll see that you could scroll across and see different documents on things we've been doing, as well as the Maliki Parts and Service page. And I will use this opportunity to let you know that Maliki Digital, again, taking 2 clients this year, we can help you do this. We can help you really get yourself out there. If you're watching me and I'm coming up in your feed and you are seeing my videos and my pictures and my texts, and you are engaging and you are excited and you are part of the community and you want that to be done for you, we can make that happen.
Absolutely.
You should want that to be done for you.
Yeah.
So reach out to us for that.
Even if you just have questions about the processes of these things.
Yeah.
Just, holla.
Please. Number 7, post regularly on your company page. While followers of your company page will be the most likely to see posts from there. If you share posts through your own feed, they will be more widely seen. Have other team members do the same. You got to be consistent.
Yes.
At least. And my company page, I'm going to say I don't post as often as I'd like. I'm probably only doing once a week there.
Right.
My main is my branding for me, Rich Maliki, which I think pushes people to that.
Yeah, for sure.
But you should be posting there. You should be, especially if you're just starting your company page out, post once a day.
Right.
At least, Monday through Friday, post once a day. Right. What's going on in your business? I'm telling you, people are searching. Yeah. They're searching B2B. It's happening. There's a high percentage number of all these searches are happening on LinkedIn. That's where they're starting.
Oh yeah. The B2B stuff is crazy on LinkedIn. And I think to your point, the idea of having a brand identity versus a personal identity is a tricky one. Sometimes people don't know where to start. So I think you have to look at the size of your business, and that's going to be the determining factor. If you have a smaller business, you're the owner and you're doing a personal brand. Obviously, your personal brand is going to weigh a little more because people are going to trust you and therefore work with your company.
Absolutely.
But the inverse isn't necessarily true. Just because they trust the company doesn't mean they're going to work with you. So I'd say if you're in a big company, you're not the owner, but you have a big role in it, make sure you try and get that brand page going. Make sure you try and get that company page up and running. And make that your initiative, because it'll definitely show that you care about the company. And then the back burner project is your personal brand.
Yeah. You gotta listen. If you're not doing this stuff, it really looks like you don't give a. Can I curse on LinkedIn?
Do it. I'll censor you. Ready?
It really looks like you don't give a shit. If you're not posting and you're not up to date, it just doesn't look good. I mean, think about everything you do in your life.
Yeah.
When you're looking to hire someone or do something, what's the first thing you do today? We all go to Google.
Yeah.
We all go to. I look for hiring. Are you not going to Facebook when you're hiring someone?
Yeah.
We're all using these things.
Mm-hmm.
You think people aren't doing that about you when you have your sales teams and different people out there saying, "Hey, come check us out. We're the best." If you have no LinkedIn presence, if you have no Facebook, who are you?
Right.
You're not even real.
I mean, when you go and ask for somebody to work for you, let's say you look through Monster or Indeed or something, or even Craigslist. First thing that they're going to do before they accept an interview is they're going to go look you up and look up your website, look you
Yep.
up on Facebook and on LinkedIn. Probably
Yes.
LinkedIn first. If you're not there, you're going to look like a shady multi-level marketing company.
It's true. I mean, who are you?
Right.
The last one, number 8 here, is separate your company page from yourself.
Hmm.
Of course, there's got to be some separation there, right? If you're a business owner, you may be seen as the business. Make it clear that you are not just the business by publishing posts from the page that are different from your personal profile posts. This could be as simple as talking about the business in the third person and yourself in the first.
Yes, I love that. I haven't heard enough people talk about that. The copywriting is crucial. The way you phrase the tense that you're phrasing things in, whether it's past, present, or future tense, and then just the person that you're speaking as. The voice is what they call it. It's voicing. It's so important and for everybody to know. It should just be general knowledge, but for some reason, it's kind of been held up by other marketers and stuff until reading this article. Where'd you get this article?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
this is from a very high up. I don't have her name, but she's very hooked into LinkedIn. I'm 30,000+
Love it.
connections, subscribers. She's very very hooked into LinkedIn.
That's such a. If you take nothing else away from this
She's
episode,
a LinkedIn influencer.
LinkedIn influencer. Hell yeah. If you take nothing else away from this episode, take that tip for your personal speak I and speak to you. Speak to one person. Don't speak to hey you guys. What's up you guys? Say hey you because the person that's watching odds are is alone. They're
Right.
not with a group of people.
It's true.
Yeah.
So, listen, the moral of the story too is get your LinkedIn pages going.
Mm-hmm.
You're waiting too long. It's going to end.
Absolutely.
The organic reach is going to end. It's beautiful right now. Things are really great on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
and it's going to end. So another thing I pulled down, just some other thing to talk to, because you see the world changing. You see all these different things. Everything is technology and all these different things.
Right.
Fable Studios founder Edward Sachi on designing virtual beings. So this was on TechCrunch. The end goal for us is an operating system. So in films and TV shows and books, and even in video games, where characters are designed to respond to user behavior, we don't perceive characters as beings with whom we can establish two-way relationships, but that's poised to change, at least in some cases. Interactive characters, fictional, virtual personas capable of personalized interactions are defining new territory in entertainment. So
That's creepy.
virtual influencers, fictional characters with real-world social media accounts who build and engage with a mass following of fans is number one. And the second one is virtual companions, AIs oriented toward one-to-one relationships, much like the tech depicted in the films Her and Ex Machina. They are personalized enough to engage us in entertaining discussions and respond to our behavior in the physical world or within games like a human would.
Yeah, it's crazy. So on a lower level, Gary Vee talks about this as create an animation, make that the mascot of your company, and make a separate page for them or do whatever and just play with them. But even more so than that, there are these CGI created super influencers that are on Instagram now and that are on Snapchat, and they're backed by huge tech companies, and it'll be like a 17-year-old girl who's
just saw
like
that.
dressing cool. Yeah.
Like maybe like a few months, like towards the middle of this year, I realized I came across something that people didn't even realize.
Yeah. People didn't know she was fake.
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing to me. And so they're using her profile. They're using this team of people that create this character is using her profile to move merchandise,
Yeah.
to do, brand deals. It's wild.
It's like a real life Victoria's Secret model or something that's, on there and getting paid to say, hey, I only use these supplements.
Right.
This fake
But she doesn't
AI
exist.
doesn't even exist, but she's there in her workout gear saying, I only use these vitamins.
Yeah.
And this whatever company this was, I don't know. I'll see if I can find the information on it, but they're getting paid for this. Someone's getting paid for this.
Yeah. Teams are getting paid for this.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars over the year, possibly, or more.
Yeah. For sure more.
So there's real business happening online with all this stuff like this, and I think we're gonna see it more and more. I mean, I could see it, in our industry. I don't know when, but thinking about the equipment, thinking about training, thinking about stuff like that. Are these are the webinars and the videos? Is someone going to invest one of these manufacturers and say we need to, because we want to make it like a real life setting
Mhm.
as best we can? Hands on. There's never a replacement for the hands on training. But if you can make something really stand out in virtual, like you have a one-on connection with this real person, and it could change the game for training.
Could be something. I mean, the amount that I see this industry becoming more and more dependent on technology is kind of astonishing. And I think it's important that we all take a look at it and just at least weigh it as a real possibility, because it's creeping in everywhere, even the influencer sphere, and even entertainment. When entertainment is doing something, it's going to move faster. So
Yeah, and that's really what I was. That's really all I brought down to talk about today on this Monday as we get set to travel to San Diego. I was going to jump into some other stuff, but um,
we got a nice little half-hour show.
yeah, there's some things here that might be worth taking a look at. Maybe this is Food Service Equipment Supplies magazine.
Okay.
2020 vision. New year brings fresh take on the restaurant industry. This is by Warren Solacek, principal of Insights to Opportunities Incorporated out of Chicago.
Hey, shot down.
I guess we could just. I had highlighted some stuff last week when I was looking at it. Commercial restaurants in the U.S. represent one of the country's largest industries. We know that.
Right.
Americans make almost 61 billion visits to restaurants each year, according to NPD Group's CREST study for 2018.
I account for 60 billion of them.
Yeah, me too. So in those visits, consumers will spend upwards of $863 billion in total, according to the National Restaurant Association. Yet, as we enter 2020, a very important question must be considered. What does the future hold for the commercial restaurant industry? I don't know. What does the future hold for the commercial restaurant industry? I think it's going to get bigger. I think you're going to see it's just not going to be in the same way people are used to.
Right.
Like all the stuff that we have talked about here in the past with the ghost kitchens.
Right.
Right. I think it's just going to, it's evolving. As we're more on the go. Like, so we looked at KFC. They don't even have a sit down. They just a drive up.
Yeah.
That's it. You're not sitting. You're in, you're out, you're on the move. You're going to your lunch meeting. You're going to your business. You're going to your whatever business meetings. You're just on the move.
Right.
So in that sense, it's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger. I think that's where the opportunity lies for technicians that don't even know this thing exists. Future technicians.
Yeah, because you put it in perspective. Let's take the KFC example that you're talking about. These are essentially 5 different kiosks that you're going to be driving through, and then going to the window after that to pick up your order.
Yeah.
Who's going to be working on those kiosks now? Is that something that's going to be in our vicinity, or is that
Maybe.
a separate company?
Who
Is
knows?
it? Yeah. So those
Weird.
are all opportunities.
And these are things that you sit here as a service company and say, we're going to evolve too.
Right.
Do we want to be the ones working on all of this stuff? Don't call anybody else. Don't call anyone for your robotic arm that's going to be flipping burgers, or don't call anybody else for your kiosk that goes down outside, because you know what? We're going to do that too.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a big possibility. And I think that should be the perspective or the lens that we're seeing all this through.
Yeah. So, and he goes on to say here, so factors negatively impacting restaurants. As the industry expanded from the 70s to 2008, owners and franchisees built their restaurants for a traditional family of 4 with an emphasis on on-premises meals.
Right.
Seating areas were comprised of tables and booths to fit a group of 4 easily. Front of the house seating was plentiful, so there was no wait for a table. If there was a bar on the premises, it was separate areas, so those sitting down for a meal did not mix with those visiting primarily for a drink. And until recently, the delivery was primarily the domain of pizza and Chinese food outlets. Today, the traditional family of 4 has transformed into multi-variations of size and ethnicity. In addition to the family units evolving, the U.S. population continues to age. Baby boomers represent one of the largest demographic groups in the U.S., comprising of 74 million adults in 2017. As a group, millennials are almost the same as boomers already, 73 million, and will become the largest demographic group in 2020 as boomers begin to die at an increasing rate.
Yikes.
That's scary.
I'm scared to death.
Yeah, it's
not to get bleak. But
well, it's a scary thing. It's scary because that statement is scary because my mom is a baby boomer.
yeah, tell me about it.
But
So
see how things are evolving.
What I was going to mention was that the example that they used about the primarily making restaurants for 4 families. for 4-person families.
Mhm.
I was watching Mad Men, and there was an episode on how they came up with that campaign. So what Mad Men did, they took real live ad campaigns and the stories behind them, and they kind of incorporated them into the show. So it's talking about how they tried to make McDonald's or some other burger place, how they tried to convince people to go there and eat first, instead of cooking at home, because you're talking about the 50s. Primarily, everybody was cooking in the home. Everybody was eating dinner there. So they had to convince people that this was like a new alternative. And now we're
Yeah.
kind of going back to the way it was, which is surprising.
Yeah, I mean things continue to change, and things that were old are once new again, and all these different things.
Right.
On the so here on the other end of the spectrum, millennials seem to be more inclined to prepare meals at home than were earlier generational groups at a similar age. As a group, millennials are more experienced cooks than were baby boomers, Gen Xers at the same stage in their lives.
Interesting.
I would say that attributes to YouTube, that attributes to Food Network, that
Yeah.
attributes to all the things that we have access to that we're searching how to make a bouillabaisse,
Right.
how to I don't know how to make chimichurri sauce, how to,
Yeah.
and then they're applying it.
That's a really interesting statistic, because I never would have thought that.
Yeah, I mean it's evolving, and
Wow.
that's another thing. People are getting closer with their food. They want to know more what's in their foods. People are trying. It seems people are moving away from all the processed stuff. They want organic, and they want to know everything about what they're putting in their bodies.
Right.
It's changing.
That's very true. The health and fitness community are kind of taking more ownership of what they want to eat.
Yeah, and it says here, if millennials do not want to cook from scratch, the opportunity to find a perceived healthier and broader variety of prepared foods has expanded immensely. Of course,
Talking about things like HelloFresh and
yes,
yeah.
exactly. Food hall fascination. This is something that you see stuff like Eataly, right? Food halls. And I don't usually go to the mall, but I was just out and about. We stopped at Short Hills Mall yesterday.
Oh, cool.
There used to be a place there that I used to love called Joe's Bar and Grill. You ever go there?
No.
It was great. Me and my mom used to go there. It's gone. They put a freaking food hall there.
Damn.
It's pretty interesting.
Damn.
So food hall fascination, though small in number today, the growth rate for food halls is quite high in large urban areas across the country where large captive workforces seek new and interesting alternatives to the standard restaurant experience. Revel opened in the Chicago Loop 3 years ago, and since that time, several additional food halls have opened in the downtown area. One of those newly opened food halls is Time Out Market Chicago, which opened in 2019. In the Fulton Market area, the location is surrounded by multiple large employers who have consolidated office space. I mean, that's what's going to be the big draw.
That's in the city?
This is Chicago.
Oh, that's Chicago.
Well, that's the big draw. I think for those food halls having these
big corporations around them.
Yeah, and of course in a mall setting, you got tons of people there.
Right.
I couldn't believe how packed this mall was.
I went to the first one that I went to. A friend of mine's now wife works at a bank in Manhattan, and she took us out for lunch, and we went to one of these big food halls, and I'd never seen something like that. It was great. It's like sushi, tacos,
Everything.
just everything.
And there's some quality stuff that's
Yeah.
being produced in there, I'm sure, by combi ovens.
Oh, everything was
rationales
delicious.
and all these different things.
Yeah.
And then on the last piece that I kind of looked at briefly was, we could really dive into a lot of this stuff, but this is a food service revolution. So still in Food Service Equipment and Supplies magazine, not sponsored yet. Food Service Revolution. Randy Sparrow, Director of Food and Environmental Services for Pro Healthcare in Wisconsin and operator of hospitals and associated healthcare facilities. What's your outlook for the industry in 2020? They asked him. He says, with the massive shift in focus toward veggie-centric cuisine and plant-based proteins in lieu of traditional animal-based proteins, it appears that the food service industry as a whole is turning the trend into the new status quo. With the meatless revolution, we are now seeing better quality and better tasting options, both vegetarian and gluten-free, which is going to bring about different, with the equipment, there's going to be different settings, different menu things. So we're going to have to be watching that, as well as we have to, we're out there setting these things.
Right.
We're doing updates. Chick-fil-A's out there. We have to do updates on menus and different things. And the second question was, what's your biggest concern or worry for the next year? What excites you the most? His first thing is labor is a concern. Skilled labor, maintaining current labor, and increasing wages for non-skilled labor. We are all in the labor crisis, ladies and gentlemen, whether it's finding skilled labor to fill vans, whether it's the new laws on minimum wage laborers, and there's a listen. There's a cost. There's a cost. We talk about it all the time. For technicians, there's a cost to have those wheels rolling.
Yep, absolutely.
So that's definitely a concern for us here as well, and also trying to let you understand what you get for what you're paying for.
Yeah.
What do you get? You get a lot when you come to a quality service company like Malachi, like a lot of them across the country. I love shouting out my guys across the country. You got Coker Service in the Chicagoland area. You got American Kitchen in Philly. You got Day and Night All Service out in New York, DC, Tampa. I mean, they're everywhere now. You got all these different companies, and yeah, I mean, we're all providing something much more than just the repair.
Right.
There's warranties, there's trainings, there's OEM inventory, there is reporting and data. There is having a phone number to call when things just don't go right and you need to get something done. There's mountains to be moved for our loyal key account customers. There's real it's an investment both ways.
Absolutely.
Do you see the types of equipment that you currently use changing in the near future? He says technology is going to be key. New technology is beginning New technology is beginning an era in which the traditional convection oven will become an endangered species. We're testing a chambered oven that allows you to cook 4 separate items at once. It still has convection, but allows us more flexibility with our product. He's talking about a combi oven. He called it a
Mike Reed
chambered
has
oven.
a comment here.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah, he says labor, labor, labor. That's the key.
Labor. But this gentleman here, Randy's talking about combi ovens, which again, food service equipment. There, people are looking to reduce the footprint. They're looking to reduce the costs.
Right.
If you can get a combi oven in your location and it takes the place of your steamer, takes the place of your convection, it's your oven, it's everything.
Right.
And it becomes the workhorse and it becomes a vital piece of your operation. So when things go wrong, that could really be a problem, which
Right.
is again why you need to have a service company that you work with on a regular basis, that you're loyal to, and that is going to be there for you. That combi oven goes down. You think you don't need it until you need it. It's
Right.
the same thing with everything. You think you don't need an alarm on your house until you have a burglary.
Exactly. That's such a good
Right?
description. Yeah.
All of a sudden, I should have had an alarm. All of a sudden, I should have had a qualified service company in my back pocket to take my phone out and say, "Hey, Rich, it's Saturday night. This is what just happened. Can you make something happen?" If you're my key account, something's going to happen.
Mike Reed also says no matter how many automated items they get, someone has to service them.
Guaranteed.
That's a great point.
We aren't going anywhere. Then he goes off to say robotics is going to be a game changer, but I haven't convinced my hospital to go with food delivery robots. With today's labor market, I think there is a need to find machinery that's going to help us. Robotics is coming. It's out there in the field. They're testing it. You've seen it at NAFM. You've seen it at these different shows. I'm sure we'll see more interesting things in May at NRA.
Right.
So
I'm interested to see in the coming years if as the company merges and as the industry merges into tech, if people who are normally in the tech field will start to work within the food service field a lot more.
Yeah.
And kind of intermingle with food service techs.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're going to see that. I think I guess like Roger, we say we have to be a technology company.
Yeah, you're going to need like a kid that knows tech back and forth that's going to be kind of consistent in your company.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be employees as opposed to just outsourcing somebody for like an IT job or something.
Yeah, it's going to be important to have those people here with you, building and growing with you. And yeah, so complete this thought. In order to be successful in the coming year, our organization will need to, and he says, continue to evolve and embrace the drastic changes that are at the forefront of the food service revolution.
Wow.
That could be the tagline for the Fed Group.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
at the forefront of the food service revolution. Sounds good to me.
There's a revolution happening, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? The food equipment digital disruptors is not here by chance.
That's right.
It's not here by luck. It's not here by divine intervention. It's here by people believing in what is and what's to come.
Absolutely.
Believing in the digital marketing era. And, like Carlos Gill says, it's the end of marketing, because it is the end of marketing in the sense that we need to humanize our brands. We need to become closer to each other and not market, shove ads down each other's throats,
right.
and be real with each other. And when someone brings up a YouTube channel and they bring up your feed, they should have a connection. It shouldn't be model 82345 ice machine, blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares.
Right.
I hate to break it to you. Nobody is going to care about that. They're going to keep on scrolling. You're not bringing value. They keep moving. Same as you. Don't. So that's why we try to say, don't put out what you want to see. Put out what people want to see.
Yes. That's such a key.
You know. So, continue to evolve and embrace the drastic changes. Changes are here. If you are a wallflower, if you are watching from the sidelines, I regret to inform that there's going to be some really, really big speed bumps for those businesses in the future that just don't see it, don't believe it. These are the same people that thought internet wasn't going to be anything in the 90s, right?
Internet was a phase.
Yeah, that ain't going to last. Well, I got news for you. It's going to get bigger.
Yeah.
This thing, the internet's at scale. It's going to, I feel like this is just the beginning of what's to come.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is the surface level.
It is. It's young. Only a couple decades in.
Right. I mean, think about the progress we've made in the last 20 years, let alone what it's going to be in the next 20. You know, we went from dial tone phones to looking at somebody face to face across the world.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
In real time.
In real time. You know, maybe like a 2-second lag or something.
Right. It's crazy. So I leave you with be open-minded to accept the changes that are coming and have the if you don't have the knowledge, come down to thefedgroup.com to get some insight on how you can begin to do that.
Absolutely.
We want to help and make a difference.
And I will say this in closing. This is my closing sentence, I guess. If you are watching this, we put out a how-to video. We'd love for your feedback on it. We'd love to see what you guys think of the format. It's a little bit of a how it's made kind of format. And if you could just let us know if you like it. Should we make more? Should we not? Should we quit? Throw in the towel?
Yeah, it's the latest video on YouTube.
Yeah, most recent video on
most recent video on YouTube,
and it's on LinkedIn as well.
How to perform a baso safety valve surgery or something.
Yep.
It's not as in depth. We're gonna get more. This is just scratching the surface.
Yeah, we're testing the waters.
So new things to come this year. And that's it. If you want to be a part of the Rich Angel Show live, let us know. We could schedule it ahead of time, or always put your number in the comments and we'll give you a ring.
That's right.
And this will be the last show this week.
Yes.
So we'll be back next Monday. We're going to be in San Diego at MOFSI. If you're going to be there again, reach out, say hello, let us know. We've never been, but we're excited to go meet new people and, of course, bring MOFSI 2020 back to you as we move through the industry in 2020.
Absolutely.
That's it.
That's it.
I'll see you in San Diego.
All right.
Rich and Angel. It's the Rich and Angel